Once again, Disney strikes. This week it was announced that the megacorporation is working on another live-action film version. This time it's the turn of a true classic from Disney, called Hercules. However, the new film will not be released on Disney Plus for the time being, as Disney will take this step into the cinema with Hercules. A few days ago, when the rumor spread on the DisInsider, among others, that Disney was going to produce a film version of Hercules, the whole thing didn't get much attention. But the official announcement followed promptly, and so Disney not only announced the film, but also two involved and not entirely unknown producers. We are talking about none other than the Russo brothers, whose flagship project Avengers Endgame not only became the most successful film of all time, but also tremendously boosted the month for the two directors and producers. But who is supposed to be the director for this project is still open. The team of the Hercules remake not only gets the two successful producers on board, but also provides additional Marvel power on the script side. Because it seems that Shang-Chi screenwriter Dave Callaham will write the new script for Hercules. Callaham is currently a much requested writer in Hollywood. He is involved in Wonder Woman 1984 and Spider-Man: A New Universe 2. Unfortunately, Disney did not have further information about the Hercules real-life film adaptation. The same goes for the cast, even though the first favorites from the fan community are already emerging. For example, many fans wish for Ariana Grande as Megara. This wish doesn't come by chance, because the extremely successful pop singer recently sang the Hercules song I Won't Say I'm in Love in a Disney sing-along special. Is it all just a coincidence, or is there perhaps something behind it? We will certainly hear more in the near future. It was quiet around the Transformers franchise for a long time. At the beginning of the year, the last news was they were working on 2 sequels. Since then, we haven't heard much about the current state of development. But that seems to be changing now, because as it has now been announced, at least one of the 2 films has now officially been given a US cinema release on June 24th, 2022. So it's clear that the date is definitely reserved for a Transformers movie from Paramount, but which one is the question? Unfortunately, there's nothing concrete now, but one thing is clear. Paramount has to bring the Transformers series back to the top, especially after Transformers 5, which by far couldn't continue the success of its predecessors. The whole series has pretty much gone off the rails. Even Michael Bay's movie Bumblebee, which is much cheaper in comparison, couldn't bring the hoped for results. At least it convinced more fans and critics. Now the question arises how the franchise should continue in the future, which is why the next movie will be of crucial importance for the series. At the moment, there are 3 rumors about the content of the 2 movies, which of course we don't want to keep from you. First, there's the option that Paramount is planning a Beast Wars movie in which robots can transform into a kind of robot animal. Secondly, a Bumblebee sequel is of course a possibility, and finally, one of the 2 movies could just as well be a sequel to the 5 Transformer movies. In addition, Transformers 6. However, with the latter option, they would have to do it without Mark Wahlberg, as he is no longer available for the sequel. Which option sounds most conclusive to you? Please let us know in the comments. More news about the Transformers are also available outside of the live-action series, as Deadline reports that there's a large-scale cartoon prequel of Transformers is also in the works. The plot will take place on the planet Cybertron, will be in the direction of origin story, and will mainly focus on the relationship between Optimus Prime and Megatron. As director, Hasbro's Studio E1 and Paramount illegally hired none other than Josh Cooley, who recently won an Oscar for the Best Animated Film for his project Toy Story 4. More information about the upcoming animated film is still rare, but we will keep you informed. Action-packed shooting has always been a trademark of Tom Cruise. As has now become known, his latest project will be even more spectacular than all his other films put together. As NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine announced on Twitter, the space agency and the actor will work together on the realization of a space movie in the future. However, this is not to be done by CGI as in other space movies like Gravity, but Cruise actually wants to be the first feature film team ever to shoot a film hundreds of kilometers above our heads on the ISS. The whole project should be a win-win situation for both sides. On the one hand for NASA, which has already announced that it wants to use the ISS commercially in the future, and on the other hand for Tom Cruise of course, who should certainly have no problem with empty movie theaters with this world's first. Cruise is supposed to be in contact with Elon Musk's project SpaceX, but to what extent they are also involved in the shooting is as little known as the content of the film. However, according to our information, it's not supposed to be a new Mission Impossible part. Whether Tom Cruise, who is known for his reckless shooting, will also be on camera on board the ISS is not yet known. After large film studios have already recently postponed their upcoming films due to the current situation, the Lionsgate studio is now also joining in. As a result, John Wick 4 will be postponed by 1 year and will celebrate its US debut on May 27, 2022. However, the open slot will not remain unoccupied because it seems that a Saw reboot, Spiral, will take the place of John Wick 4 and will be released in the USA on May 21, 2020. Also, the US release of The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard with Ryan Reynolds will not be spared and will be postponed from August this year to August 20th next year. Also affected are the movies Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar, the horror movie Antebellum, and many more. As you can see, the list of films to be released this year and next year is thinning out and it's not yet clear which ones will follow. We will keep you informed about updates as always. The Netflix documentary Tiger King has long become a cult. After a worldwide hype around the documentary about the eccentric wildlife collector Joe Exotic in the USA, it's actually no wonder that something additional had to come. As Variety reports, a fictional series is in the works and suitable actor for Joe Exotic has also been found. It's probably the best cast that could have been found for Joe Exotic in Hollywood, and this is actually Nicolas Cage. He is supposed to slip into the role of the big cat owner. According to Variety, Cage has already given his consent for the leading role and is also supposed to play a major role in its production. Dan Lagana will be the showrunner for the series, while US channel CBS will also be involved as a producer in the background. The story will be based on the article Joe Exotic, A Dark Journey into the World of a Man Gone Wild, which was published last year in the Texas Monthly and will initially comprise 8 episodes. When the series will be released is unfortunately not yet known.